What are you, Australian?
That's Vegemite. There's a difference. There's not really a difference, as far as I can tell. Don't tell the Australians.
I thought Marmite was just a brand of Vegemite.
No fake text.
Marmite is the British version of Vegemite. I don't know which one came first, but I can get Marmite at the grocery store.
I looked up Marmite and apparently it's banned in like 2 countries.
Yeah,
The fuck?
I think it's like Sweden and somewhere else, and I know it's banned in Sweden because they have laws against over fortifying food, so putting like too many vitamins in the food. So like
Yeah,
a lot of
in
cereals
Australia and
or
Denmark.
yeah, Denmark.
I just realized I'm staring in the music chat instead of the voice chat.
Vegemite looks terrible. Why would somebody do that?
I like it.
Maybe they can't eat meat.
It's delicious, actually, but you have to use a very, very small amount of it because it's very strong. It's also really good in like soup to make it a little more umami. But if you're like eating it on toast, you just use a little tiny itty bitty bit. So fucking good.
I'm
I'll
getting
stick to
sleepy,
eating
so
pork
I'm
ass.
gonna dip.
Good night.
Alright,
Good night, everybody.
Peace.
actually I'm gonna dip too. Good night.
John, send me that thing about the
Night.
pigeon.
What? Oh,
He said
okay.
he-
It's not about the pigeon. It's just part of the video. Let me find the
Okay.
timestamp. I'm gonna do that before I go. It's so funny.
We put drugs in this cat.
Yeah, and now he's chill.
Yeah.
We have anxiety meds for Patsu now.
Aw,
Nice.
He's so happy. Really happy boy. Come on.
I am
He's
so
a good
sad.
boy.
I cannot
Why
get
are you
this thing to work.
Imagine your boy with the fat blood like Ralsei.
God.
Cat just looking at you while smoking a fat doink. You gonna go to the store, Ghostly? You pick me up
Oh.
some cheese whiz?
No, yeah, no
Hey,
problem.
cats have cheese whiz?
Cats are lactose intolerant. I don't know if there's
But they
actually
all
lactose in
vary.
cheese though.
Hey, ow! Ow, Potsy,
Wait, they're
fuck.
lactose intolerant. Then that mean like people shouldn't throw cheese on them.
Yeah.
He didn't attack me, don't worry, John. He just put his claws into my...
Why would you
my
be throwing cheese at anything though? That's like not a sandwich. Why are you throwing
Because it's
cheese,
funny.
huh? Why are you throwing cheese?
Because it's funny. Do you know in Wisconsin it's actually a law? It's illegal to sell anything that's like low quality cheese. It has to meet a certain quality standard, which is why all the cheese in Wisconsin, pretty much all the cheese in Wisconsin is really fucking good. Even if you get like the shitty go to Walmart brand kind of cheese, it's actually pretty good, especially compared to like I had some Walmart brand stuff from Chicago and it was disgusting. But like the Walmart brand here is actually like good because it has to be good or else they can't sell it.
That makes sense from the fact that the one time I was in Wisconsin, we went to a cheese factory. We were just driving through, and my dad was like, "You know what? We're gonna go to this cheese factory. This is gonna be a family thing." And we went,
Yeah,
and it
give
was
me a
pretty fucking good. Good sample cheese.
Have I already eaten? Oh. I'm kinda hungry, but I was just gonna go to bed.
Mm.
Okay, I'll have some ramen too. I do have to dip though. I posted the video with the timestamp.
Thank
It's
you.
like it's like 2 seconds long.
Was everyone just okay with the fact that their sleep schedules are now just based on degenerate hours?
Exactly. Period.
What's
As
a
they should
sleep
be.
schedule?
Fuck. Is my last stuff? I can't fucking find it.
I don't know what a sleep schedule is.
That's what I've been. Bitch. I hate the internet.
Did
The
you
internet's
see the
cool.
videos?
Am
Sorry,
I
I got
spelling my
distracted by
name
an
wrong or something? The fuck?
Yeah, just one.
Oh, it's because I'm not putting in user. I'm fucking stupid.
Wait, where did you put it?
User stuff.
Oh, there you put it.
Yeah, in voice general.
My brain is shutting down.
That kitty is fucking.
That's Patu. He's being needy.
I saw it.
I won't head on him, even though I'm making food.
He does kind of have mommy milkers though.
A
Wait, what?
little bit.
The
Who
video
has
I like.
mommy milkers now? Who has mommy milkers?
The new bird in Animal Crossing. Brewster.
I thought you were saying Patsu had mommy
No!
milkers. I was like,
That's honestly what I thought too.
Mommy milk.
Do you think the pigeon milk that like he puts in the coffee is from him?
Shut up.
No.
Shut up.
No.
Probably.
Shut
I'm
up.
leaving. Good night, everybody.
No,
Good night,
I'm
John.
going-
Later.
I'm gonna kill
See you
guys.
tomorrow.
Oh, disgusting.
It's not that bad.
They said, do you think the pigeon milk that
It was terrible, see?
No.
You guys got Auden to freak out too.
Good.
Nasty.
He mentions pigeon milk, and when I was a kid, I'm like, are we drinking his titty juice?
I mean, pigeons do produce crop milk. It's a thing.
Okay,
I
so
take
did you
screenshots
know
off my phone.
as a form of contraceptive for the first 6 months after giving birth? Because that's true. And it is like, I think literally 98 or 99% effective.
Say that again? What was the first sentence of that statement?
Yeah. Kami didn't hear you. Auden, did you want to say that again?
What is it? Contraceptive is like birth control. When someone gives birth, if they're breastfeeding for the first 6 months after they give birth, while they breastfeed, they have to breastfeed during this time. Breastfeeding can be used as a contraceptive. It is effective like literally 98 or 99 out of 100 times.
That's
Nice.
fucked up.
See?
That sounds like it's not effective.
It sounds
Humans are
like
fucked up.
it sounds like the baby is
My
just
personal
draining all the
theory is
resources.
that it is because your
Yeah.
body is preventing you from damaging yourself by getting pregnant that fast.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a
No rapid fire baby making.
No rapid fire baby making, but I shoot them out of me like a fucking cannon, though. I mean, my god, I'm slinging babies all over the fucking place.
I mean, do you at least like clean up after yourself?
I mean, there's just human infants just crawling all over the floor everywhere. It's terrible.
Oh, I thought you were talking about semen.
What the
Fuck
fuck?
babies.
No!
Go.
Kami, where is your brain at?
Well, literally said babies. That's it.
It's a
I hate
babies.
it.
It's an entire.
Semens turn into baby. Like, that's why they're
No.
called semen. 'Cause you see them coming.
What does the men part mean
Coming.
then?
Like,
Gender
human.
roles.
Okay.
That's really
What?
woman phobic of you. I don't remember the word.
Misogynistic, you mean?
Yeah. That's a word, right? Woman phobic. God, I should lay down again.
Okay, riddle me this. If all women are queen, why can't they move in every direction on the board as much as they want to? Checkmate, atheists.
Oppression.
What?
I don't know.
If women weren't oppressed, they'd move every direction as far as they want on the board. I don't know what I'm fucking saying. My brain's dead.
God, I wish the queen was nerfed in chess. Why isn't there a 2.0 update? Like an official 2.0 update?
Can queens move diagonally?
Yes, they move in every direction as much as they want to, but they choose only one
Okay.
that turn.
Then really bad chess messed up some mechanics. Which is not surprising, considering the game is called Really Bad Chess. But it is really fun. They just give you a random assortment of pieces, and they're like, yeah, fuck you, go ahead.
Like the queen is literally just the rook and the bishop together. Except that you can't rook a king, which to rook a king is just basically I'm gonna drag my king to the rook to so that way they're protected, but you can only do it once per game. And it's surprisingly one of the strongest moves in the game.
OP.
But I don't can you do it diagonally? I think you can.
No, you cannot.
Derek would know.
Oh, it's called castling, not rooking. Okay. Isn't it fucked up that there's just so many like bot accounts on Twitter posing as real people and people believe them to be
I
real
think it's
people?
funny. I'm not gonna lie. I like laughing at them.
I think they have a harmful effect though. Like legit, I think there's
I'm gonna
barely
put it in
any
Twitter now, just because you brought up Twitter.
there's not that many in total there's not a lot of transphobes on Twitter, but they're loud and they have a bunch of bot accounts.
True.
But like overall it's less than 5,000. But it's like they push transphobic shit and then people like will agree with it because it's always just like something that's like on the edge, like bordering, like maybe, you know? Or like right now, I think there's a role trending called Politics Girl, and like there's like obviously fake bot accounts of women being all like, uh, girls should leave the politics to men. Like,
You know
eh.
what I think is really funny was when that one like Republican congressman or whoever was trying to tweet on their fake throwaway black man Twitter account,
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
tweeted out on their actual like account, and they were like, "As a black man in America," and everyone was like, "Dude, you're white. You're on the wrong account, buddy."
What?
I know. I know, like when Trump was a thing, like a couple years ago, they
Oh,
were gonna ban a bunch of
no.
accounts, but then they were
I
like,
was
huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was responding to audit. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you could. They were gonna ban a bunch of accounts, but then they realized, oh wait, we're gonna ban at least 10% of our platform because they were all just bot accounts of like hate speech and alt-right bullshit. So they didn't do it.
I just think it's funny the fact that we have like actual politicians that were trolling and posing as people of like the opposite like race of them and shit, just for clout to prove their point or whatever.
people do that all the. I think people do that a lot, and like there's a lot of things that you can't really be unsure about because I feel like there can be a minority of black people that support that politician or believe the same thing that person believes, but then everyone's gonna be dismissive of like their opinions and experiences, even though it's like
Yeah,
important.
it's sad.
It also like bothers me too because it adds to this. One of the problems that a lot of black youth feel in like a lot of my black friends felt like in the black community they had to be a certain way to be black enough or they weren't black, you know?
Yeah,
Mm.
And it
I hear
fucking
that a
sucks.
lot.
That shit like ruined multiple relationships of mine because it was just like, hey, I can't like dick or like you sucking my dick because that'd be gay, and if that's gay, I'm not black. Like, what?
The
No?
fucking rules and shit that they have to like face are just so like confusing and they don't make any sense.
That's true.
It's kind of similar in like Mexican culture, but when it comes to black culture,
Oh
it's more
yeah, it is.
exasperated.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, it is. Um,
Masculinity is more the focus
yeah.
rather than racial purity.
Yeah,
What in black culture or Mexican culture?
In Mexican culture and black culture, it's more racial purity and then masculinity. When it comes to Mexican culture, it's more masculinity than racial purity. Um, Mix in Christianity with both cultures. They're somewhere there.
That's true. Well, with older Mexican culture, like with my papi, um, my abuelo, he was one of the Mexicans who was super, he didn't like fucking Italians, blacks, or anything like that. He more of one of the racist types. Um, he was really into the racial purity aspect of it, and I don't know if it's still like that or not. I just know that it was more of a thing with the older crowds.
I know it
Um,
was a thing with that older crowds, and like, there's still like, it's weird because like people will view it as something like, oh, it's the older crowds, but it's still kind of recent-ish. Like people are still going
yeah.
through that. Like you can't. I'm not
mhm.
sure for Hispanics or like Mexicans, but I know like
Oh,
still it's still a
it's
thing.
still bad with Hispanics, trust me.
It is. It is.
Like two of my closest friends are Hispanic and my one of them got beat up by his brother all the time because he's gay.
Oh my
Oh,
god, yeah.
My other friend basically got shunned from his family by his dad because he's gay. And
Oh my
his
god,
dad
yeah.
would like try to pretend to be like supportive and all that, but like he would literally go on like family vacations and shit and like leave him behind as if like he wasn't a part of the family and stuff like that. So
Yeah, because it's
it's
like
still bad.
for shame. It's
well,
super bad.
that's
It's
less
really
racial
bad.
purity and more homophobia generally based off of Christianity.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, you're right about that. I got confused when you said racial purity earlier. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, no. It's really bad in Mexican culture. Like
It's really, really bad.
yeah,
It's
like
really
my
violent.
cousins. My cousins were all girls and they were gay, but it was like uh, I had another cousin who was raised by his who was not all of my cousins were girls. One of them was gay, and there was my uh, one cousin who was male, and because he was part black from my aunt's one of my aunt's marriages prior to him, and when my tio my one of my tios got married to her, um, he he was not only super racist to this kid growing up, but very abusive. And anytime that this kid got close to doing anything that seemed feminine, he would give him shit for forever. I remember growing up and my tio just fucking being awful to me because I wasn't uh, performing gender correctly to him. So very violent, very
Yeah.
mean, and it's like there's also a lot of weird body stuff that intersects with not performing sexuality or gender correctly. Uh, I remember like having like I was more overweight as a kid, and I remember my uncle just grabbing at my stomach fat to humiliate me and make fun of me for like my hair. It was fucking terrible. Uh, but it's uh, homophobia is definitely based more off of Christian values within Mexican culture, and
100%.
it's bad. And I remember my cousin, my lesbian cousin, she was like, she got into trouble for doing something fucking stupid, but to punish her, she was a tomboy, you know, growing up. To punish her, they put her in fucking dresses to try to, you know, humiliate her and remind her, you know, you're a girl and you're not allowed to like men. Damn.
It's so
Fucking
weird.
Christ. Like I am
Yeah,
familiar with that.
weird.
Like because there's a lot of homophobia and like like because I know it's still like a really ongoing thing. Like you can't act like if you act or if you have nerdy interests outside of like basic anime and you're black, people will be like you're not black, you're white, or you have to be
Yeah,
you have to do certain things. I'm not sure with like if that's still a thing in Mexican culture, but I know that in black and
yeah,
Mexican and uh depending on where you go, I don't think it's really white culture, but rather the areas within white culture where, stuff
Yeah, they
like
get really upset
non-standard
about like
sexual.
whitewashing.
Like,
yes,
yeah. I mean, like, I get it, but like, if you're like white, then you're more likely to be accepted if you're LGBT by white peers rather than if you're, black or Mexican, you're less accepted to be, or you're less expected to be accepted by your same racial peers. And people will dictate, well, you
hmm
can't be Hispanic if you're this, you can't be black if you're this. I mean, I guess it's still like very apparent in Latin culture because of stuff like Latinx and people being like, hey, I'd rather be called a slur than Latinx, but it's like, okay, then I'll just call you a slur and I'll call everybody else that prefers to be called Latinx Latinx. You have zero right to dictate what you have zero right to dictate what other people prefer to
yeah.
refer to themselves as. If you
Well,
don't want to
it's
do
a
it,
real big problem in a lot of Mexican culture. A lot of people who are Mexican just want to be seen as like white, which like I know it started with the Spaniards and everything, but it's like it's really fucked up. It's colorism. Um, so they get uncomfortable with you calling them something that would like designate them as not actually being white. Though I've also met a lot of people growing up in a Mexican family who at the same time will, you know, say fucking blanco, gringo, fucking pendejo, shit like that. But um, you said something earlier about the anime thing. That is definitely still a thing in Mexican culture, where the older adults, you know, that are still around that never got into anime, they don't understand it, and younger generations who are influenced by those older adults, so they never got into anime because they didn't want to be seen as not being like Mexican. They'll think that you're white for having that kind of an interest. Video games are different. I don't know why, they just are. But when it comes to things like anime or fucking American cartoons, they'll think you're a sissy. But anime, it just they think that liking it makes you white, and I never got that growing up. Um, I, my cousins were into anime anyway, but that didn't make the Mexican people in my family any more comfortable. I've also met other Mexicans like at work and stuff like that who I don't know. It's like performative masculinity with the men, especially.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but it's definitely a thing, and I wish it would stop being a thing. But so I'm sorry I went off there.
no, you're good. Because, like, that's what happens. It's shitty. That's what I hate about Hispanic culture. I feel like I want to delve into it, but I don't want to deal with a lot of the bullshit that is Hispanic culture because like I feel like I'm very whitewashed,
Yeah.
but at the same time I'm like, yeah, but I'm also not hating, gays for being gays.
Sure.
I'm not one
I
of
mean,
those Hispanics that are like, oh, I'm so proud of my Hispanic heritage that if anyone dares to like say anything like Latinx, they're fucking wrong, even though and dumb. And even like, you do realize like the University of Puerto Rico has been using that kind of language since like a while, right? And people are fine with that. No, like
I think
a
it's
lot of
worth
people
it.
don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think it's worth it though to get into your into Mexican culture because
I'm Puerto
like
Rican.
celebrating. Oh, you're Puerto Rican. Never mind.
Yes,
Um,
that's why I
I
said
think
Puerto
it's
Rico.
worth it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear it. I'm so sorry. But I don't know. I think it's worth it. There's a lot of things in Hispanic cultures that are really beautiful. Like I don't know if Puerto Rico celebrates this, but Dia de los Muertos is great. Uh,
We do and don't. Like, we realize it's a day, it's a Mexican holiday. It's sometimes more just an excuse to, like, drink, but it's not really
that sounds
our
right.
thing.
Yeah. But I think it's worth it just because there's a lot of things out there that are just beautiful. Um, I think it's all about finding out your little niche in life. I don't know.
I know, like, 'cause we celebrate New Year's Eve, January 6th, MLK Day. Um, we celebrate the day of illustrious Puerto Ricans. We celebrate Washington's birthday, American Citizenship Day, Emancipation Day, Good
Mhm.
Friday, birthday of Jose de Diego, Memorial Day, Independence Day, um,
Interesting.
Did you
birthday of
say
Don
that?
Luis Munoz Rivera, um, the Puerto Rican
Huh.
Constitution Day, birthday of Dr. Jose Saleso Barbosa, Labor
Hmm.
Day, Day of the Races, Veterans Day, Discovery of Puerto Rico Day, which is fucking dumb. Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. If it's a familial
Does
holiday, we go the fuck off because Puerto Ricans are like
ah
Hispanics in general are
same
very
thing.
family based.
Did you
Hmm.
say the Day of
It's super fun.
Illustrious? That's the coolest sounding holiday name ever.
Uh, Also, is Puerto Rico still owned by America?
Yeah, we're a Commonwealth. We
Yeah.
still want stateship, but they don't want to. No one wants to give us stateship. They just want to take the shit that's there and take
That's
taxes.
so bullshit.
Like
That's so
we pay
bullshit, though.
taxes. We
Did you
pay
guys like literally
taxes.
vote on it too? Like I feel like you guys like literally voted on it too, and then we just like dismissed it.
It's in favor of non-independence because the thing is like a lot of people want the independence, but at the same time they realize the benefit of being a state. And
Uh-huh.
we are basically a state without any of the benefits. Like, America doesn't have to provide FEMA relief to us at all, but
That's
we still
so.
pay
Oh my
federal
god.
taxes. I say we as if I'm living in Puerto Rico, but like,
You,
Still
the
counts.
collective we. Um,
it's like
they
the
still pay
literal
like
reason
good.
that America left Britain. We're doing on other places.
Yep.
Uh, What the hell?
Like it's really dumb, but like because
Hmm.
it's where they take our resources. So like medical IV bags are literally made there, made for less than $1. They're brought to America first, where all the price you get price gouge for an IV. Like you can spend basically like $100 just to get an IV,
Oh yeah.
even though it takes $1 to make. And then it's brought back to Puerto Rico because we're just secondaries and we still have to pay the $100, which Puerto Rican economy is much worse than American economy because Americans keep taking our resources
Yeah.
and then taxing us for
Oh.
it. And then when the flooding and the earthquakes happened, people like lost a lot of their shit. and Donald Trump just went over there and threw fucking paper towels at people.
Oh,
That was
that's
fucked
right.
up.
Dude, what the fuck? Such a fucking clown. Oh my god.
And so
Oh,
many
and we
people
Not
wanted
in
him
a
also
to
good
praise him
way.
for being the best president ever or whatever. It was like really, it was so brain dead. It's like, do you not realize like how little he's actually doing?
the
Oh,
Hmm.
thing
he
is
did a
that
lot. He fucked up a lot of shit. That's what he was doing.
Yeah,
the
he did a
thing is
lot in
like
the wrong way.
so I don't know. Puerto
He was a
Rico
good
is just
president for me
very
though, that was for sure.
yeah.
Uh, whoa.
Also, we have a bunch of like official public holidays, but we also have a bunch of religious days that like for example, we celebrate Three Kings Day slash Epiphany on the 6th, but religiously
Ah,
it's
that
the
sounds
5th and
right.
6th. Um, we have Carnival before Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent. Sunday before Easter Sunday is Palm Sunday. Then the Holy Week, Good Friday, St. John's Day, the Day of the Innocents, Festival of the Masks.
Ah, thank you.
Kitten sneezes.
Shut up. I don't have
No.
kitten sneezes. Oh. Um, this is going to be so stupid, but I was thinking about the nerdy thing earlier, and just outside of anime, this is a big thing that goes back into homophobia and Hispanic culture and Mexican culture in particular. But you would not believe how many bronies are fucking Mexican. Like there are so many.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I very much
but they
so know
won't
because
talk about it.
like my brother is a brony, and like a lot of people there like in Milwaukee are Mexican bronies. But
That
like
sounds right.
as soon as they leave, they're not a brony, you know?
Yep.
It's
Um,
only in Milwaukee.
but yeah, it's really big. Like there's a lot of Mexican bronies. I think the only community that probably is a bit bigger than them are like Slavic bronies. I
And doll
think there's
collectors.
probably more Slavic people. The what?
I know a lot of doll collectors that are Hispanic that do like Rainbow High or Bratz or
That sounds
Oh,
right.
OMG
yeah.
dolls.
I have I have a couple ball jointed dolls, and like the ball jointed doll modding community is very Hispanic, which is cool.
It's yeah, it seems to be like super Hispanic or like 40-year-old white women.
Yeah,
Like there's a big dog community, and it's mostly Hispanics and older black people slash Africans. Like dolls
yes,
play a significant part in both cultures, and also a bit in
yeah.
Japanese culture
Yeah.
and Chinese culture. But like my neighbor next door, she just has so many dolls, and she dresses up because that's just part of her culture.
Hmm. See, that's it's interesting to me. And it's so like I don't know. I just think a lot about this. Like I know that a lot of Mexican people, particularly Mexican males, who are into stuff like being a brony or they like dolls or whatever. It's like they do a lot of them will just do that in private because if you bring that up around like your family, ooh, you don't want to do that. It's more acceptable, I think, for girls, but like with people who are born as male, it's like no, 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 no.
There's a lot of coded language we use amongst each other when we're youth to realize here's the shit that you can and can't be. Like, oh, they're
Mm-hmm.
traditional. Oh, I can't. Okay, so I don't suck dick. Got it.
Oh, they're traditional. You heard that growing up?
Yeah, like stuff like, well, like that's a pretty common phrase, but like it's a
Yeah,
lot of the body language or like this is how like, oh, this is like, they're Christian or and I'm like, oh, so if they're Christian and Hispanic, don't be on that bullshit.
it's fucking stupid. It's because it's literally the religion that preaches love and acceptance the most, yet they're like the least loving and least accepting.
Oh, they don't preach love and acceptance the most. There's other religions that emphasize it more completely.
Yeah.
True.
Most religions do.
Whereas,
It's just they never uh pick up that part when they get big.
Religions,
Like Christianity in general is just super performative.
Oh yeah.
the thing about it is that a lot of it is designed to be a cult,
Yeah.
and that's just it. Because like the whole mindset is to gather a few people and then rule those people by religious words. That's like the whole thing about it. Look at missionaries, for example, or like
I fucking hate
look,
missionaries.
uh like okay, so like look at the Westboro Baptist Church. So the thing about the Westboro Baptist Church is that they send out like these starry-eyed like youth that want to convert others because they truly believe, and like I want everyone to be I want everyone to have salvation and be saved and all that stuff. And then they get shunned and shit on, and then they retreat to their family like feeling like heartbroken and lost, and then they start believing the shit like their family says. Though
Yeah.
I bring up Westboro Baptist Church specifically because the opposite, as of recently, has happened. I say recently, like maybe 8, 10 years ago or so, um, where there was these people on the Westboro Baptist Church. They got on Twitter and they started like spewing the Westboro Baptist stuff, and people were actually pretty nice to them in return, and they were like, "What? I
Yeah.
thought you guys were just gonna be like shitty people." They're like, "No." Then like they left the Westboro Baptist Church, and like they felt
Yeah.
bad because they had family members they loved and cared about. They were just completely indoctrinated.
I think part of how bad the Westboro Baptist Church got was in due to the fact that the leader was literally kicked out of the original church. So he went and made his own and like would use that as proof that there are two sides kind of deal. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That dude was weird. And then on
That's
his
yeah.
deathbed, he denounced his own church and then was exiled from the family.
It's a fucking joke.
Cool.
Which
That
like
church
at
is
the
dying then.
yeah, oh, no, the church is definitely dying. It's been dying because it's like people are becoming less and less indoctrinated. But like the whole thing about these cults and religion is a lot of the times it's supposed to be very close knit communities and then have a leader that takes control of the community. Like generally
Oh yeah.
for financial and for a lot of influence, like there's a lot of pastors that sleep with people's wives or they get donation money from the church and then
Oh
they like
man.
spend it on themselves. Like when my friend's mom, my friend Herb, his mom passed, and like his dad had survivor's guilt. They had like a shit ton of insurance money. Like she was dying for like essentially 10 years. She died fairly young, but like everyone just kind of accepted it because it was like this is fate. Um, and they got a shit ton of insurance money, and then my friend's dad gave a lot of it to the church because he had like survivor's guilt, and the church just was like, one of the pastors was like, well, if you feel bad about it, just give me the money. And then they just took the money and then just kind of dipped on him and stopped giving him like any emotional support at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like Christianity since the start of America has been like super wound up in uh, prosperity
Exploitative.
gospel. Yes, you know, uh, it's like the prosperity gospel aspect of it is really bad because it's all about like, okay, if you're poor, then you're poor because God made you poor. If you're suffering, God made you suffer. If this or that, it's all God, so you deserve it and you have to go through it. A lot of Christians just will not do what they say they will do. It was very frustrating. That said, I fuck with Quakers. I like the Quakers. They're cool.
Quakers
What's the
are
Quakers
interesting.
doing?
The Quakers don't set up a leader in particular.
You leaned back,
They
didn't you?
Shut up. Yes. Um, the Quakers don't do direct leadership. They prefer sociocracy, which is really interesting. Which means everything they do, at least if it's a good Quaker group, they do by consent. They don't even do voting just because that leaves someone else out. So they keep working through it until the whole entire group of church agrees on something. They also don't call their priests. They call them universal friends. They're
That's
Fucking
interesting.
different.
weird. Like, let me consult my universal friend, okay?
Yeah, I mean, the Quakers are all about being friends to the whole world. There's definitely, fundamentalist Quakers out there, but they are very interesting. And people don't talk about them a lot. And what's really interesting is that their particular branch of Christianity, they don't like they'll let you be a Quaker, and a lot of them are universalists. So if you're a Quaker and you're something else, they don't give a shit. Like,
Nice.
you want to be a Quaker and you want to be a fucking, like, I don't know, uh, something else, they don't care. You want to go worship Zeus? Go ahead. Just stick with the rest of what Quakers generally agree with, and they're fine. Again, there's definitely conservatives, but most of these people are very cool.
They're interesting because they're historically Protestant, and Protestants came to America and fucked shit up because they were like, y'all motherfuckers ain't religious enough. Like, fuck y'all, we're
Mm-hmm.
going. Because it wasn't the whole
Protestants.
the whole religious freedom thing is bullshit. It's not freedom of religion, it's freedom of they want to force shit onto others. But like
Yes.
like Quakers are weird and interesting because they're like the quote unquote hippies of Christians while also
They
being
really
Amish.
are, though. They're like
Like
Amish, but they're also like not Amish at the same time. It's so weird. They're cool. Like, they are one of the
Respect the
most
Amish.
relaxed Christians that I have ever seen. Uh,
Because you're allowed to walk out of being Amish at, like, anytime you want.
I
mhm.
thought you had to go through what is it called?
Roomspringer.
Amspringer? Yeah. I live like in the middle of like Wilmington's basically in the middle of Amish country. And we get all the Offspringer kids like just going fucking feral every year. It was really fun.
um,
Cause like you have to they let you
mm,
go and be out in the world and you can choose then, but if you choose to leave then you're like excommunicated from the community.
yeah, the parents won't
yeah,
even talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
family ties are
The
like
Quakers, yeah, like all of your ties are like gone.
Yeah.
So that's part of the thing that I don't like about the Amish. But what interests me is that, as far as I know, that doesn't exist with the Quakers. And again, they really are like the so-called hippies of Christianity. They're so fucking weird. Like, so much of Protestantism uh, for so long has just been, fundamentalist conservative ideology. But then you get these people, and they're like, I don't give a fuck if you are a goddamn heathen. You're still a Quaker if you're cool. I'm like,
it's
okay,
because the whole thing is that it's generally united by a belief in each human's ability to experience, the light within or see that of God in everyone. So to
yeah,
disrespect another person is to disrespect God.
yes, and they're cool. Their religious practices are very interesting. They get their name from the fact that when they do uh, they do this particular kind of prayer, they their bodies will quake and fucking move around and shit. Uh, it's not the whole tongues bullshit. It's some other thing, but it's neat to me. I find it very interesting.
Fucking
Uh,
tongues. That reminded me of the fucking lady that was the oral sex demon lady.
the oral sex demon lady. What?
Have you not seen this video? You know those
No.
videos of like, you gotta go to church and you gotta repent, and then like a person like goes up and they scream like, oh, like, this demon happened, and like this pastor is like screaming like, get that demon out, get that demon out. But like, there's like this
Yes.
lady that was, hold on, I'll just link the video, and
There's this
I'll,
one.
Mennonites you can leave and you don't get excommunicated is one of the one of those things. Like Amish people you get cast out, but if you leave the Mennonite community they're like, okay, come
That's
back.
true.
come back for dinner later on, please.
See, I like that. I think that's healthier. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's this thing.
Oh god.
I'm gonna I'm gonna play it in
We're all
three,
sex demon.
two,
What
one.
the fuck? Out. Out.
I like feel bad for this
Uh,
lady because I think she like genuinely believes like this, but no. I feel like the whole situation is like she was going around sucking dick and then she felt bad for it, so then she came up with like this whole sob story.
I don't
But
think
if that's not
she's.
the case, Jesus
I don't
Christ.
think. I don't think she's being honest. I just don't. Just based off of how she's reacting, I don't. It seems very put on to me. Um, and the moment that he started saying oral, I don't think she was trying to do it like an oral sex thing at first, but the moment the guy
You
jumped to that
oral sex. You
conclusion,
use oral sex.
yeah, the moment he said that, she started acting like she was doing a dick sucking move. So I don't think she actually believes what she's saying. Um, I hate that. There's this fucking there's this one dude who he's one of those like there's this one fucking dude who's like an exorcist or whatever, and he is such a fucking fraud, clearly. But his whole thing is he pretends to exorcise people of spirits or whatever, of particularly uh, indigenous or non-white cultures, which is so fucking racist.
Yeah. I'm also wondering how many people are just like actors and like part of the whole like show and skit.
I think most of them, the ones that do it publicly, especially, are actors. But I do think, I don't know, I believe in weird shit. I think there's probably shit that goes on behind closed doors, but I don't think Christians are going to bring up the shit that goes on behind closed doors because they don't want you to see something that you might come across and go, oh, that's actually, there's something there to that. They want you to see weird shit that's like, it's like those Nigerian prince emails. They're designed so that they're completely ridiculous, but they're so ridiculous because they don't want the people who are pick up that they're ridiculous to get into it. They don't want you there because you're not going to give them, your money. They want the people who are liable to believe what they're doing. Does that make sense? It's the same
Yeah.
reason that
Yes.
Alex Jones says all this crazy shit and he does all these absurd things and then he sells boner pills on the side.
I'm
It's
sorry because like I pick up what you're saying, I understand, but then this lady started screaming and then the
it's
pastor
okay.
started spraying her coochie with holy water in a bottle.
What?
And there's a lot of things I'm trying to process right now.
Alex
Yeah.
Jones boner pills, coochie
Yeah,
Yes.
holy
the video
water.
was highly educational.
That was highly educational. I've been changed. I'm going to go get exercised right now.
I so like what I hate about the whole turning the frogs gay thing is that immediately afterwards he says something even funnier, but no one knows what it is because like
What
everyone's
do you say? What
focused
do you
on the.
say?
He said like 79% of the frogs in Virginia are bisexual. And like
That
the whole
Oh, I
thing.
remember that.
that thing is actually, so he worded it
It's
really wrong,
true.
but he actually did research on it. It's there's a specific chemical that causes reproductive dysfunction in frogs that like it, it can make male frogs start producing like eggs instead of
Yes.
sperm. And
Turns them
yes,
intersect.
yeah, and that's a problem because it like they don't live very long and it fucks up the like entire cycle of how you get more frogs and how they,
Uh-huh.
even themselves out normally, like the population
And the
shit.
and the chemicals cause something to happen in humans too, right? It's not turning you
It,
intersex, but it's like a problem, if I remember.
it's not. It hasn't been like seriously studied on humans, but there are like what's it called? Hypogonadism, where like babies who are born who had parents who were like contaminated with this what is it called? It's like it's either a fertilizer or it's a pesticide.
I think it's pesticide. I don't know though.
Um
I know the video, like where to find the information, but the video is too long for
yeah.
me to like
It,
scour through.
it yeah,
Man,
it's
I
an
just want to eat
endocrine
some fucking
disruptor.
broccoli without busting a nut in a lady, and then my baby comes out and they're just fucked up.
Atrazine. It's called atrazine and it's an herbicide, so a weed killer. And it's an endocrine disruptor, so it like most things when they're in development technically start out female.
Yes.
Like so when you have an endocrine disruptor uh like present, you start losing like male attributes. So it starts causing like things to go more female ways. So like you can get like male breasts or hypogonadism, stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it wasn't severe like they it seemed like in areas where atrazine was present, there were some human children who were born with these problems. But
But not
anyway,
enough research.
it turns out the dude who was looking up this stuff got completely and totally obliterated by the company that produces atrazine. Like so obliterated that the FDA, instead of listening to him, listened to the company that produces atrazine, allowed like the company to work out the scientific method to test if this dude's research was able to be recreated, and then just let them hire their own scientists to test it out. And we're like, oh yeah, no, we found no evidence. We found no evidence that this causes any problems with the frogs. When there's like actual physical proof and shit that like has to be discredited now because they didn't like the people who could recreate his stuff were no longer uh
Huh?
what's the fucking word? Like any study done before the company um made the rules, all of the studies were now basically worthless because they didn't follow these specific guidelines for testing this thing. So
Oh,
anything
what's the
that
chemical called?
atrazine,
How do you spell it?
Atrazin.
Okay, there it is. Except like I kept hearing like accusine, and I'm like, isn't
Oh,
that something different?
yeah, no, atra. Sorry, I can't say words. I was homeschooled.
You're good. But like, fuck. Cause like, I'm pretty sure don't they use that in like maize and sugarcane
Probably.
and some residential lawns? Cause like,
Yeah, I think there's a lot in Florida because there's a lot of sugar cane produced in Florida.
I'm supposed to say it's Florida. There's a lot going on in Florida.
Yeah, there's heaps going on in Florida. I don't know if this specific case like was done in Florida. I just know that I'm pretty sure atrazine is used in Florida. It was fucked up though. It's fucked up, and like what's his face just makes this statement, they're turning the frogs gay. And then like he goes back on this interview and starts trying to explain what he was talking about, and it's very clear he really did research on this. He just couldn't wrap his mind around trying to use words that made sense.
Like
Really,
he's
he's
like
such a weird man.
30% of the way there, because like some of what he says should be looked into because like, you know, it's like he has the keys in the ignition, but he can't figure out how to turn on the car, let alone make it go.
Yeah.
And like a lot of conspiracy theorists are onto something, but they completely derail into complete bullshit, like the whole Pizzagate thing. Like, yeah, they're like the FBI is involved in child sex rings,
They
but the whole
definitely are.
Pizzagate thing was like completely wrong and
I'm gonna
off.
be real. I'm gonna be real with Giacomi. I think that a lot of that, like, I feel like this is going to sound so fucking conspiracy theory, but I genuinely think that a lot of the reason these conspiracy theorists go so far off is probably because they're being supported by some fucking dude who wants misinformation out there. Like it's like how a lot of uh, there's a lot of fake anarchists on Twitter that
No,
are being run
like
by FBI accounts.
I totally agree with that. Like I don't view it as a uh conspiracy at all. Like it makes sense to have this misinformation that's out there and to propagate
Yeah,
misinformation because then you get everyone looking at shit like Pizzagate and be like, "Oh, that's fucking dumb." And then like the same conspiracy theorists are still like yelling about, well, there's child sex rings, by the like again, look at what happened in Milwaukee that I talked about the other day, and like people were correct about that, and a lot of the evidence was taken down for it. Like a lot of the video, like if you try to look up videos and like I've seen these videos and I've talked to some of the people about the whole thing and like people have been talking about it in Milwaukee and like that's a thing that happened. But people want that whole misinformation thing so that like they'll believe, oh, crazy people believe this, so if crazy people believe this thing, then that's obviously not true.
Yeah. And then you got people who, like, aren't, uh, very educated, who take it at face value and then spread it even more. Like, the whole drinking bleach thing that was going on. Uh,
ivermectin, yeah, that too.
yeah.
Fine.
I have one conspiracy theory that I believe wholeheartedly.
Say it, say it, say it.
I think I think that laundry detergent, the line on the bottle where you're supposed to fill it, is like way too high.
Oh no, yeah, that's completely correct because the whole thing about it is that they're trying to get you to use much more than you actually need. So
Yeah.
they'll be like, okay, so let's say you have let's say you have a bottle, right? And it's 100 ounces, and it's like 100 loads. So you're supposed to,
Use a
just
fucking
use
ounce
one
every time you do
ounce.
your
Huh?
use an ounce every time you do your laundry, basically. No matter what size the load is. Use an ounce.
No, it's just well, it's supposed to be for the load, but like, cause in actuality, you don't actually need laundry detergent at all, as long as, you know, you have the agitator there. You would only want laundry detergent for things like your
More
underwear, your
spoil.
socks because, they're more soiled.
Yeah. Or
But
if you
like,
have like something that has stains on it, food, stuff that's
yeah,
soaked into the fabric. Like hardcore.
um, but like so, let's say you need just 1 ounce for a load and that'll work just fine, and that's how it's supposed to work. But the line on the cap, they'll tell you to use more, so that you end up using more, and then you end up buying more, even though in most cases, you don't actually need it, and in some cases, you only need the 1 ounce.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to use like 2 ounces if it's like something you want to make sure is clean, but
Bang.
that's a little overkill. But then they'll be like, well, for every load that you do, you want to use, what ends up being like 2.5 ounces. And then when you look back on it, you're like, Wait, but isn't this supposed to be for 100 loads? You know?
Yeah,
Riku. No, it's Riku this time.
I have opinions about clothing and fashion. They're all bad.
Yeah.
Modern clothing is disgusting, though.
I like
Besides
Clothing?
jeans,
femboy
jeans are
clothes.
great. I
What's
just
going
wish
on?
clothes lasted longer, like they used to. Because,
Yeah.
like, when you look at fashion history, you'll see how little it changes over, like, decades. Because people people got their clothes and it didn't fall apart immediately. Or they knew how to fix their clothes, stuff like that. And you look at, like, fashion within the past 100 years, like, it changes so fast, like 50 years. There's been like a billion different major fashion upheavals in the last 50 years in comparison to like clothing over human history. And it's because the clothes, they fell apart after like 2 years.
Yeah.
Drives me fucking insane. As a dude who makes clothing, I want my clothing to not fall apart after 2 years because I like my clothing. And I want to wear it longer. And I can't, because it fucking falls apart. I can only sew a seam together so many times before I destroy the fabric.
Yeah, I noticed that like with older pants, because I have big thighs and they rub all the time,
Oh yeah.
I don't have the issue of shit breaking, but like even if I get like sweatpants nowadays or I
Yeah.
get some newer jeans, like they
I
just keep rubbing
recommend,
and then they break.
I actually recommend Levi's, because I also have big thighs, and I have the thigh rub issue. If I wear any other jeans, aside from Levi's, I'll get holes in the thighs, like, in a month or two. But I've had the same 4 pairs of Levi's for like 6 years, and they're still fucking amazing.
I need to get like non-distressed Levi jeans and like charcoal colored chinos.
Yeah.
It's like I don't usually wear like I don't know. I like femboy clothing and color, and jeans aren't usually they're kind of a femboy thing, but only if you like
Depends on
work
the
it
cut.
specifically.
I mean, Levi's shorts. They're short shorts. Good short shorts.
I like short shorts. I
I
like
don't usually wear short shorts. I don't like my legs.
I like
Although
pleated,
I,
ruffled, and or tiered skirts just 'cause like they're just good. They're skirts. They're skirts. I don't
yeah,
have to worry about them breaking, and they're skirts. Skirts
yeah.
are cute.
I think my favorite piece of clothing that I own is my fucking chitin toga. It's called a chitin. It's a chitin, but everyone knows it as a toga. Like the Greek shit. Which a toga is Roman, but I like the Greek cut better.
Uh-huh.
I love togas.
Toga's good.
I think my favorite it's either a tie between one of my thongs or my pink shirt that's oversized. Just holy shit, that thong is super fucking comfortable and I love it. But also that pink shirt is just like it's almost like a dress in and of itself and it's like it's big comfy.
Yeah. Where are my toga pictures? Where are my toga pictures? Where's the fucking toga? All that's in
I
my
need to
phone is wedding pictures.
Wedding pictures. What do you need a wedding for?
Uh, my brother's wedding.
I'm sorry, that was a joke. It's okay.
I
You
know.
can have wedding
I
photos.
didn't know how to respond.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
No,
It's
it's
not
not okay.
okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay.
God.
When I think wedding, I think Panic at the Disco.
Oh my God. What
What
a
a
beautiful
beautiful wedding.
wedding.
Set the
I
bride
hate
to
that
make to
song.
the waiter.
I hate that song so much. Because they had to, everyone wants them to perform at every concert.
I love that song. I know
The
Brendan
Discord
Urie
wedding
hates it now.
on one picture.
I know Brendan hates it. I don't know if it's the whole band that hates it, but I know for sure Brendan fucking hates it.
The band doesn't exist anymore. They're gone.
Oh shit.
The only one that exists is Brendan Urie.
Did everyone like
And
die?
he's still. No, they left. They just fucking left. They're gone.
Yeah, but
The
like
only one that's
Jesus,
still
like they
there
don't
is
exist
Brendan
anymore.
Urie.
How is it?
Oh,
Is Panic at the Disco still a thing if it's just one person now?
I don't know. That's what other people ask too. Like, does it count if it's just the one dude?
Let's see. Panic at the Disco is the solo project of American musician Brendan Urie. It was originally a pop rock band from Las Vegas, by childhood friends. So like now it's just one dude. Does he like? They broke up over creative differences. It's just one guy now, but like, so like, does he just like tour and then he's just like, hey, you want to perform on stage with me?
I, I guess.
Probably. I know some bands
Probably.
are like that, where it's just one dude and he's like, "Hey, you wanna you know these songs, right? Come on, let's go do a concert." Like some of Dwayne Peters' bands are like that, where it's just like, "Hey, you busy? You wanna come be a drummer for a bit? Okay."
This dude's legit like a fucking JRPG main character who like has the title and then he's just swapping out party members and shit.
Yeah, literally. Although like every skate punk band has the same three drummers. And if like there was this joke that was happening uh not super long ago when COVID hit, where it was like everyone needs to figure out how to make a vaccination now. We only have three drummers in this community. Please, we cannot lose them. You're gonna destroy like 600 bands.
I remember when people were coming home from the biggest, littlest fur con and people were worried about the plane gonna crash because if it crashed, then IT would be set back by 30 years.
Yeah. Found the toga pictures.
Togas are nice.
Togas are nice. You can move so well in a toga, which is something I look for in clothes after being in ballet for 7 years.
I like wearing towels as togas or as skirts. I used to just
Right.
scream in like a shirt and a like a very big towel and just basically be like, I don't want to put on pants and I don't really want to do my hair. Is my face shaven? All right. I'll just put on this shirt and this towel and then I'll go for it.
I also think towels are too small, but that's because I was spoiled because I lived in Florida, we had the best beach towels in the world, which were they were towels for laying out in the sun, but they were two-person layout towels, so you could like just put one towel down. You wouldn't have to worry about like weighing down a bunch of towels. But we just use them as bath towels, and they're like just fucking blankets. Best fucking towels. Wrap your whole entire body after the shower. I need to invest in a bunch of those.
I had one that was like that, but like I used it so much that it got worn out and I'm wondering if I should get like another one.
You should.
I should also like I haven't had my camera on during my streams and I should do that.
Face cam. Oh, people are waking up.
Oh, apparently ABBA released an album, their first
Oh,
album in 40 years.
shit.
Thank you,
Damn.
Twitter.com.
I know one ABBA song in Attic Greek. That's what is it? Give me a man after midnight, or
That's a
what
good
is that
song.
called?
Dancing Queen. You know
Gimme,
Dancing
gimme.
Queen.
Well, gimme, gimme,
I do know
gimme.
dance. Queen. Gimme in Attic Greek. Sometimes when I drive my car and I don't have my music on, I just revert to singing in Attic Greek for some reason. Or Romanian.
Numa Numae.
It's a fun song to sing.
It's a fun song.
I wonder if they got royalties for that or not, because I know Rick Astley made like less than $14
Really?
with the YouTube stuff. Yeah, like it blew up and he barely got any money for it. YouTube got most of the money.
Kind of fucked up.
Super fucked up.
It's almost as fucked up as Almond Break.
I have my payment.
Almond Break was it's basically like the most used sample in like all time because there was a in 1969 there was like a soul funk group called the Winstons, and they had a song called "Call Him Father," and on the B side um of the single there was a song called "Almond Brother," which was an instrumental
Amen.
version of gospel music standard Amen, and it contained like a 5 second drum solo called the Almond Break, and then it ended up being like the most sampled piece of music in modern history, uh, with well over 5,000 recordings, and every genre has used it like popularly one time or another. It's one of the most ubiquitous pieces of music in modern pop culture, and whole genres such as jungle or drum and bass have they owe their very existence to it,
I don't
and
know if I
because
would
like
say
it's pretty much
that.
built around the creative use of almond break, sometimes chopping up the sample into tiny pieces and building completely new beats out of pieces.
Huh.
And they literally, the people that made it has not been given a cent for it.
Jesus.
Do you know the Powerpuff Girls theme song?
Yeah.
Almond break.
Oh my god. Need to go to an ATM so I can fix my fucking card.
God, I want potassium, but bananas would kill me.
Uh, sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes suck.
Uh, blueberries?
Acceptable. Preferably within a muffin,
Oh
which
yeah.
barely has any blueberries. Oh, I'm very
Avocados.
disappointed. Ooh, avocado.
Avocado. Spinach.
I want I want some free
Pineapple,
ash.
watermelon, coconut water. Apparently all of these
Uh,
have more potassium than a banana.
I cannot drink coconut water because coconut. Imagine every Hispanic fruit and I'm allergic to it.
Oh god.
I know. Living is suffering. Like, I miss
Uh,
eating coconut popsicles.
I can't do coconut anymore, but that's because I got incredibly sick off of coconut rum once. And it like triggers that, oh, you poisoned yourself response every time I try to eat it. It's very unfortunate. But I did it to myself. Apparently white beans and black beans also have a lot of potassium.
I looked up Cargie on Twitter as I do every so often, and I'm very disappointed because I just got a little post that says Lucky Corgi's NFT, and
Ugh.
please die. Oh,
I want it
also
to
ill.
die.
So I have on my Twitter, you know how you can enable like if you want to see safe work and not safe for work content?
Mhm.
People don't mark their shit, so I'm looking up corgi and I'm just like, well, that's a penis. Like I don't want to see that. I want to see a corgi. I don't want porn, damn it. What's wrong with you people? Oh, it's a little duck. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's in World of Warcraft. It's a little ghosty corgi.
Stitchy.
Very good corgi. Legit, I've formed an obsession towards corgis because of this one guy I was very infatuated with. Same with squirrels, because my boyfriend loves squirrels, I love squirrels.
My friend Dune has a squirrel. Or his grandma has a squirrel. But
Oh,
it was like a rescue, and when they tried to like release it back when it was capable of taking care of itself again, it was like, no, no thanks, I'm staying here.
yeah, you're not supposed to keep squirrels as pets unless, like, they need the help.
Yeah,
And then you try to let them go, and if they choose not to go, then, well, they're
you
your
step on the
responsibility
squirrel.
now. Well, they're continuing to be your responsibility, rather.
Yeah.
I keep feeding the squirrels nearby, and sometimes they like run up to me, and then I'm like, I am your leader.
Oh man, I did that with the crows in Wilmington. I used to have like a bunch of bird feeders, and the crows would be like too big to use the bird feeders, so they'd knock them off the trees all the time. And so instead of like trying to get the crows to go somewhere else, because you cannot fuck with crows, they will fuck with you back. I just set up a different kind of feeder for them, and they used to just like hang out in my yard, and I'd watch them and they'd watch me and they'd watch me fill the feeder. And then I found out that they'd follow me to work. They would follow me around
We want more food.
constantly. They do.
I wonder how hungry a lot of wild animals are because, like, animals will constantly follow people around for food. So, like, how hungry is an animal? Like, always, you know?
Yeah. How hungry is an animal versus how much do they just crave human food?
I want human food.
I want human food. I want a hamburger.
I want a frappe, but like the McDonald's near me is closed, and then the one I don't know if the one that's like second close to me is on strike still, but if they're on strike, I'm not crossing the picket line at all.
Yeah.
Because fuck you if you cross the picket line. I really want a frap. Even though they're really bad. Like, I swear to God, I've gained weight because, like, I just kept getting fraps because they were cheap.
But they're good.
Yeah, but still, they're like bad for you because it's literally they're high in calories and
There.
mostly
Hey,
just
John,
sugar.
John, 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 John.
Why is John still awake?
I was wondering that
He's
when
eating ramen.
John was called not too long ago.
Wanna kick in his kneecaps.
No.
Just a little bit. Just until he
No.
goes to bed.
You say no, like, my girl. I keep trying not to call her my girlfriend because she's not my girlfriend, but she's basically my girlfriend.
Yeah, okay.
Your friend that's a girl.
Your
Because,
friend
like,
that's a girl.
I have my boyfriend, and then, like, we have an open relationship with this other girl, Lemmy, and she's basically our girlfriend, but she's not our girlfriend because I was like, bless you. I was like,
Thank you.
hey, are you our girlfriend? Is Lemmy our girlfriend? And then Boxy was like, I don't know. Did she say it? And I'm like, Lemmy, are we like girlfriend and boyfriend and boyfriend? But she's like, nah, cause I just think we're like you're like boyfriend and